Hello, welcome to Genesis chapter 14. We are continuing with verse 15. The Lord said to Moses, "Why do you cry to me? Tell the people of Israel to go forward. Lift up your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it, that the people of Israel may go through the sea on dry ground." So we have established that salvation is of the Lord. However, the road He has set out for you, you have to travel yourself. And I always said that so what makes you is not that you reach your destination, is that you made the journey. Because the stops you made, the people you met, the things that happen to you, those are the things that form you and turn you into the person you are today. So we have to be careful the road we are on and notice and recognize that whether we are traveling on a road that God has for us. And I think you can see that this, how you react or the things that happen to you on the road, that will probably give you a good indication whether you are on the road that God has set out for you. Verse 17, "And I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians so that they shall go in after them. And I will get glory over Pharaoh and all his host, his chariots and his horsemen. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord when I have gotten glory over Pharaoh, his chariots and his horsemen." Then the angel of God who was going before the host of Israel moved and went behind them. And the pillar of cloud moved from before them and stood behind them. So the pillar of the cloud, we have established that is God. But also in the Old Testament, the angel of the Lord is, they argue that the angel of the Lord from the Old Testament is Jesus himself. So think about it. You have God, the Father, you have Jesus. So you already see this duality here. The two persons of the Trinity at least are here. And then you see them that they are between the Israelites and the Egyptian army, which tells us that whenever the word is coming after you, you will have someone standing before you and the word. Verse 20, "Coming between the host of Egypt and the host of Israel." Yeah, I shouldn't have sliced the sentence here. So I'm going to read from verse 19 again. "Then the angel of God who was going before the host of Israel moved and went behind them. And the pillar of cloud moved from before them and stood behind them, coming between the host of Egypt and the host of Israel. And there was the cloud and the darkness, and it lit up the night without one coming near the other all night. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord drove the sea back by a strong east wind all night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the people of Israel went into the midst of the sea on dry ground, the waters behind the wall to them on their right hand and on their left. The Egyptians pursued and went in after them into the midst of the sea, all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And in the morning watched the Lord in the pillar of fire and cloud, looked down on the Egyptian forces and threw the Egyptian forces into a panic, clogging their chariot wheels so that they drove heavily. And the Egyptians said, 'Let us flee from before Israel. The Lord fights for them against the Egyptians.'" Now, you come to the big body of water. You see that it's split in the middle. There's a path in the sea and two water walls. Don't you think that would have given an indication, saying that there's something supernatural going on here, especially after the events in Egypt? But I think if you're in the world, I think the problem you might have, that you may be so blinded by your hatred towards God that you literally forget everything and all you concentrate is your hate. Verse 30, "Thus the Lord saved Israel that day from the hand of the Egyptians, And Israel saw the Egyptians dead on the seashore. Israel saw the great power that the Lord used against the Egyptians, so that the people feared the Lord and they believed in the Lord and his servant Moses. So you can see that the Lord is a protector, but also a judge. He protects those who are his, but he also destroys the enemies. And also let us not forget that when you are serving the Lord, the world will always persecute you. And that's what it shows truly. Because if you think about it, we already talked about it at the beginning of Genesis, that the Pharaoh represents the world. And as you can see, the world hates God. And even Jesus talks about it in the Gospel of John, that the world hates me and he will also hate you on account of me. But we must not fear. And I know it's difficult. I'm not saying it's not. I'm talking to myself as well. But we can see that from time and time again, that the Lord protects those who are his followers. Another interesting observation. So there is this argument which says that the Egyptians, the Israelites, didn't actually cross the Red Sea, they crossed the Reed Sea. And the word Yam Suf, it might refer to both, so it could be translated as either. And while both of them could be true, when the Old Testament uses this phrase, it refers to a deep body of water. And this deep body of water is usually situated close to the Sinai Peninsula. And if you read 1 Kings 9, 26, 28, you will see it. Or even Isaiah 63:13 said, referring to this event, that it was a big depth. So we're not talking about the Red Sea, we're talking about actually a deep body of water. And if you read verse 22, also it says that water being a wall unto them, to the left and the right, so there was a big wall of water. I also read scientific articles, and apparently with computer simulations they could recreate the event given there's a strong east wind. I think if you think about it, God could employ any methods. He could use nature, he could use pure force, however you want to call him, you want to call it magic or something, his power. But the most important thing is God will protect you, and whatever plan he has for you, as long as you stay on the narrow road, he will see you through it. Amen.